Okay, y'all, let's talk. The Shy is now in episode 4, and can we have a real conversation? Y'all, how are we really feeling right now about The Shy? Let's get into it. Hey y'all, hey, this is Hey Media Money with the Media Sip. Let's dive into The Shy. The Shy is currently in its 8th and final season, and I really want to get into episodes 1 through 4. Not so much a breakdown, but more so a critical analysis of what has this experience really been like for us as the viewers. I don't know if this is going to be an unpopular opinion or y'all going to feel where I'm coming from, but it's genuinely starting to feel like this cast and the storylines and the character arcs have all just kind of spiraled outward too much. And now we just have this humongous canvas with 80 different players and characters depicted, but there's no intertwining. There is nothing that kind of ties them together. There isn't really much linking the storyline together. And it all just starts to feel heavy in a way, not in that satisfying way of, oh, tension is being built up and we're anxious to see what happens with these characters. I'm almost starting to feel a little viewer fatigue, like, okay, when is this going to end? Let's get into it. So the latest episode that came out was episode 4. This is season 8, episode 4, White Widow. And even in just like the synopsis, it says, Tiff grapples with her feelings for Nuck after a vulnerable confession. Emmett and Keisha take steps towards their future as Bakari settles into his new jobs. Jake expands his business, but like all good parties, unexpected drama arises. So let this be your warning. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Episode 4, these characters are driving me crazy. Okay. It opens with Tiff and Nuck, and they're in this tub in Rob's mama house, in Rob's house, essentially. And it's this whole romantic setting with all of these candles around, and Nuck tells Tiff that he loves her. Now, of course, we as the viewers know that Nuck is only with Tiff because the father of her child had an untimely death, but, spoiler, which shouldn't be a spoiler if you're watching this episode and you're this far along, Nuck was the person who caused the unalivation of it all. So, of course, it's like we're already super frustrated at Tiff's character because it's just like, honey, I mean, you are the definition of sleeping with the enemy. But of course, in the storytelling, Tiff is unaware. But this is my thing. At this point, Lene has already kind of, spilled the beans that Nuck killed his pastor that was supposed to be one of his closest confidants. And my thing is, okay, Tiff, when you heard those beans were spilled, at any moment, your instinct didn't kick in, sister. Like, I mean, Tiff, you have no gut instinct, no feelings, nothing. None of your ancestors tapping your shoulder like this ain't right. Like, are you just not having any of those feelings, or are you completely ignoring them? And that's the part for me that I really wish they would give a little bit more nuance in, because it's like, okay, yes, Tiff is grieving, but is Nuck there because you want to be with him, or is he there because it's just you don't want to be alone? And if that's the case, it would make more sense to why it's like, baby, there are no red flags going off for you. There are no butterflies in your gut. There's no sinking. Your heart isn't sinking when you're hearing about him doing all of these very evil things. And this is the other thing too with Nuck's character. You are a stone cold unaliver. I mean, last season Nuck was catching bodies left and right. I mean, he was taking them out. You are just taking people out like this is Grand Theft Auto. Like when I used to drive around in the car and just hit people because I didn't know what I was doing. Like that is the amount of bodies that you are taking out, Nuck. But at the same time, all of these people you have sent on to glory. And Reg is the one character that gets to still twirl around and annoy us all, terrorize the entire city, including his own siblings. Nuck, you're taking out the wrong people, honey. You took out the pastor and left Reg? It really does not make any sense to me. And to be honest, another one of those storylines that just really feels like there isn't tension here, it's just annoyance, is Reg. Reg and his entire crew. I am really sick of this storyline. To be honest, it just does not, it's no, as menacing as he's supposed to be, I never really bought it when it came to Reg. And not that the actor, no shade to the actor that is playing that role, but it's like he's supposed to be he's almost written to be this kind of like benevolent, really just menacing, no boundaries, unconditionally evil type of guy. And I think they try to incorporate a bit of like, think the Joker, where it's like he's menacing and evil, but also like charming and funny. But the only thing is, I don't know if it's the writing in the show or the actor's performance. The charming part just doesn't deliver. So you genuinely just don't like this guy. Like, it's not like I hate that I like him. So it's like Reg just does not have any adoring qualities that ultimately make you like him as a viewer. So him having this elongated, over several seasons storyline of just terrorizing and really not giving the audience, there's no, even in the writing in the character arc, there is no moment of just like a satisfaction or even anything that we really get to have a moment of empathy of like, oh, this is why he's like this. Because even flashing back in The Chi, characters like Duda at least had some adoring qualities where we were like, wow, he's a terrible guy, but he does okay sometimes. Reg does not have okay moments. It's really just bad, compounded with more bad. Even to the women he dates, even to his siblings, even to his own mother. Like, he was just a bad guy. And it's tired. It's tired, it's exhausting. And it's like, I think that it's limiting us from really getting more information and better storylines from the hundreds of other characters that have been filtered into this show. There are so many characters that they're just simply not using anymore. They introduce so many new people that now just have become glorified background actors. Prime example, Rotimi. Last season, Rotimi's character was the right-hand man to the pastor. He was trying to take over the church. He was, saying he was practicing celibacy, but was out here being a little bit of a hoe to the women in the church. Like, he was just he had all these different things that, while they were secondary, still compounded to create like an interesting dynamic between him and the pastor and Papa and all of that, where it did move the storyline along. This latest episode, in season 8, we find him now. He's out of the church, he no longer wants to take over the church, and now he has a barbershop. And, hey, listen, I'm a black woman that grew up, I was born in the 90s, okay? So I grew up in the 90s I'm a millennial, okay? I'm going to just leave it at that. And I understand the importance of third spaces like barbershops and salons because I grew up in those. And I understand that there's just as much preaching going on in those third spaces like a barbershop and a barbershop chair as much as going on in the pulpit. There's so much that you can learn and that you hear and that you can receive from elders and community leaders and just people that really care about you. There's a community in a barbershop and in a hair salon in those third spaces like that. So in no way am I saying that's not a good addition to add to the story. I think it is great. And I think that the more we see it, it will encourage us as a society to get back to having those spaces. In terms of this TV show, though, so now Rotimi is he's a glorified background actor. I think he said 2 words in that scene where the guys were having their men's meetup. There's everyone there. It's Papa, it's Jake, it's Jason Weaver, it's Luke James, all of these dynamic characters are there. Emmett and his dad are there. Everyone is there. And Rotimi is essentially standing behind a chair, holding a comb or something, and saying 2 words. Where he was a character last season that had a fully fleshed out life and storyline. And we have no idea what he has going on now other than, hey, I opened the barbershop because I don't want to do the church thing no more. And then it just cut away from him. It's very much like Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's like when Giselle didn't get a package, it's just oh, she's here. What is she doing? That's really what it felt like for Rotimi. And it kind of bothered me a bit because he is a dynamic actor. I would love to see them flesh out his story more and use him more in some capacity. Speaking of churches and pulpits and the pastor, our boy Papa has completely just steered away from the Lord's presence, honey. Papa has been pulled so far away from that church and the pulpit that he has been smoking every episode. I mean, it is giving Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg type of vibes. Every time we see Papa, he is puffing it down. Okay. And I understand, they want to show his compounded grief and how he's handling it, which is in a way how a lot of black men handle it. So I get where they're going with that. But now they're showing that Papa has upgraded to popping pills. Hate this as a storyline. I know it's something that is truly plaguing us as a society. I just never wanted Papa to fall victim. But that is where we are now. And at the same time, I get it. When you really look at the character arc of Papa, he was the pure church kid, that just was growing up in a rough neighborhood. He was so protected by his father and the security and safety that his family provided for him. For that all to be stripped away by street violence, by pew violence. And now he's not only lost his father, but now fast forward to last season, and he also lost someone who was like a father figure for him, and the pastor who also ultimately was lost to pew violence. And unbeknownst to these characters, it's at the hands of the same man, Mr. Stone Cold Unaliver Nuck. But again, you taking out pastors and have not taken out Reg. It will never make sense to me. Of all the people, you have to upgrade that priority list. All right, let's move on. Emmett and Keisha are discussing, they both want to be married. They're both, individually speaking to others about proposing to each other. And honestly, I genuinely hope that this next episode 5, is more focused on maybe their storyline and them getting a sense of joy and basking in their love. This has been a lot. It has been a lot, compounded tension and mess and drama and just like dark storylines that I would love for us to see a happy episode. Reminiscent to the baby shower episode. Remember that whole episode where Emmett was just smiling and was like, look at my baby mama. Where Tiff and Keisha were both pregnant. I would love to see us go back to a happy episode like that in the midst of all of this. So I'm hoping that, because it's just been so much build up. It's been so many just like on the edge moments. Y'all, if I had to count, I lost count if I'm being honest. There have been almost like 80 something times where it's just somebody pulling their pew pew out on their friend or their brother or somebody that's just like sitting right beside them. Like, it's like all this tension and all this like, I'm gonna unalive you. I'm gonna unalive you. Like, it's just like, it's so much. So I'm genuinely hoping that episode 5 is a moment to just breathe as an audience and for these characters. I think we all need a little reprieve at this point. It is a lot. Please drop down in the comments, y'all. Am I just running off? Like, is it me? Is it just me? Or how are y'all feeling about The Chi? Knowing that this is the final season, do you genuinely feel that this is building up to an ultimate climax that would be a satisfying conclusion to this series? Do you feel like there are too many characters to tie up the loose ends? Do you feel like they're using these characters to the best of their abilities? Please drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And let me know even suggestions of what what are you looking forward to? I personally definitely look forward to Emmett and Keisha getting married. I hope that Bakari does leave. I hope that he is able to make it out. I hope that Tiff does find out the true person that Nuck is. And I hope Bakari and Lene can get their situation aligned. I think the writers are missing a great opportunity to reference Kev. This is the thing about a multi-layered dynamic friendship group type of show. Even if my friend moved out of where we grew up at, I would reference him. I would talk about him. I would mention him in conversation, or especially when it came to something that was relevant to him. And I think that the writers missed so many opportunities in this past episode 4, when they did not reference Kev as they were talking about moving out of Chicago. Because as it stands in the full view of the Chi's universe, like cinematic universe, if we're looking at the world that is the Chi, Kev is, based on storyline, Kev is really the only one that made it out. Kev made it out without any looming criminal charges over his head. He didn't owe anyone any money. He didn't have any bad blood with anyone. Kev was genuinely able to just move away and take advantage of an amazing opportunity. What the writers could have done in season 8, episode 4 of The Chi was make sure that while Bakari and his friends are talking about potentially leaving The Chi, even the moment when Bakari's twin sister is talking to him about Bakari leaving Chicago to go with her, he's like, Chicago is all I know. His sister could have easily been like, well, Kev moved to LA. It's working for him. Because she literally said, I want to go somewhere where it's more opportunity. Her throwing out Kev taking advantage of the opportunity would have just made this feel more cohesive. Even when it's Bakari, Jake, and Papa. And Papa's like, there are two people in the world, in this world. It's there's people that, go for what they want and want more. And it's people that just appreciate what they got. And Jake is like, well, can you be both? That would have been an excellent moment to throw Kev in there, just to make this story and the audience's experience more cohesive. Because right now, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, it genuinely feels a little all over the place. Please let me know if I'm by myself in that. And would you like to see Kev do a little cameo comeback? Would you like to see Brandon do a comeback? That would be something. Drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. This is Hey Media Money, and of course, this is powered by the Media Sip. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And please tell me your unfiltered thoughts in the comments. This is the Media Sip. Baby, it could be a sip of tea or a shot, but we're talking all things TV that you got to tune into. Thank you so much. Catch you in the next one.